Hello and welcome. This is Michael from Healing Waters of Bethesda. And I hope you're doing well today. So this is, I'm an introvert. And coming from the place I had people and friends and places to go and stuff like that. But God moved me to an area where I didn't know anybody. And it was very tempting to almost become a shut-in. Now, I wouldn't have said that, oh yeah, I'm going to become a shut-in. It was the fact that I had a lot of, I'm going to say some witchcraft against me, a lot of trauma that hadn't been healed, and because of all the pain and the witchcraft that I was under, it was very tempting to just self-isolate myself, and that was the thing. So what ended up changing a lot of this is the Lord was kind of giving me a dream about these two women I was dating. Now, these two women were actually representative of two directions that I could go in, or basically two emotional states. One was where she was all glowing, very bright kind of person, very confident. And the other person was just like kind of even more skinnier kind of deal. And she was very like, kind of almost not woe is me, but like downcasted, stuff of that nature. And I was just kind of praying on it. I thought at first it meant two different people or something. I didn't fully understand that. But then I began, as the Lord was starting to reveal stuff, He started showing me this other dream that I had like a long time ago back in the past of this one side of this park where these people are all by themselves and kind of like isolating themselves, and they're all like almost depressed like. And then this other side was all kind of bright and kind of cheery. And I mean, like, they weren't, I wouldn't say, the best Christians out there, some of them. But there was more of a joy and a peace and a unity about them. And there wasn't that strife on that other side. And the Lord was just really showing me that there is, I was very close to becoming more of a self-isolated person than I thought. And the Lord was just kind of breaking me of that. Like, even when it came to like going to churches, like I was tempted just to stop going to churches and finding a church and all that stuff, because I didn't really see the point. I had a lot of this hurt, and it's just kind of like, I got Jesus, I got God, okay, I don't need to go to church. Now, there are some times when God will have people not go to churches and stuff for whatever reason, so I'm not saying not. So if God tells you not to go to a church, then don't go to church. But for me, He had me start visiting different churches, and in the process of visiting different churches, also healing me of different things. I would get the message that I needed from God, and I could easily discern what's not true, what's not kind of deal, because I've been in the Word for many years. So, but someone that's a newborn Christian, I can see how that would actually kind of totally mess them up. But for me, I've been in the Word for a long time, so I do know when I hear something that's not correct. I know to measure it by the Word of the God. So, but God had me start breaking out. You know, I had to get out. Sometimes there's those days where it's like I hadn't gone out, so I just went to the mall. Because like the mall is like maybe 5-10 minutes away from me. Probably about 5 minutes of a drive. And sometimes it's just getting out, you know, I'd say hi to a few people here and there. Maybe I start a conversation or something like that. Even when I went to churches, I would visit, I was like, I kind of try to make a point to try to talk to somebody and all that stuff, and try to put myself out there in a sense. Like, hey, here I am. You know, I went and tried to like, listened to the message, ran off, bye. And sometimes I think when I first began, it was very tempting to do because I had a lot of hurt. And I was under a lot of witchcraft and all that stuff. And many people, I know, like, even with Japan, there's a lot of people that kind of like self-isolate themselves, and I kind of understand where they come from in a sense, because I was tempted to go down that path. The guy was showing me, like, I had those two paths to choose from. But part of God healing me, it's like I don't feel that loneliness that I did. And not to say that, hey, I don't want to find somebody to better my life and get married and, have kids. That'd be awesome. But at the same time, I know God's healed me because I've been able to step out and make friends and stuff of that nature here and there. God's been able to heal me of a lot of the insecurities I had with opposite sex to get to the point where I am feeling ready for a relationship with the opposite sex now. And not to say that I didn't feel like I was ready back then. But you see what I'm saying is when God begins to heal you, you're not going to want to so much self-isolate yourself. Yes, you're going to value your time alone by yourself at times, but there's a lot more peace that comes when God starts to heal you. And I think a lot of times why people kind of self-isolate is because they've been hurt by so many people that it's just better to avoid people altogether. And I remember coming across somebody, like, he wanted to save up enough money just so he can, like, basically be by himself. And the Lord kind of showed me a dream that he was kind of listening to me. And I think it was just kind of like he was there and then gone at my workplace. And I do believe, like, sometimes that some people need to hear that. It's like, no, it's not good to self-isolate. It's a bad thing. It's not going to bring you what you want. And ultimately, sometimes the only way to get healing is by interacting with other people. And not to say there aren't some wolves in sheep's clothing out there, but the Lord's going to have to give you direction and guidance in that. And there's been people, sometimes, like, for a season and for a time, I was able to be friends with them. But then the Lord said, no, now's the time not to be and to step away from them. And yeah, sometimes that hurts, but I understand it brings otherwise. But that's a whole nother story. There's just the right timings and seasons for that. So, God bless you. I hope that you're not wanting to self-isolate yourself. You may not even be saying that you want to self-isolate yourself, but at the same time, you're wanting to basically avoid people. And I'm just praying right now, the Lord will give you strength to try to start interacting with people and to show you what you have to do and how to protect yourself from the hurt that you've gone through. And I know the Lord can bring people into your life that can heal you. And I've had the Lord bring people into my life that healed me in a lot of ways. And then at the same time, He had me step away from those friendships because He saw that it was going to actually hurt me after I've gotten the healing. And so they may only be in your time and for your season just enough for you to get the healing you need, and then they're out of your life. And I mean, sometimes that's a sad fact, but that does happen. I've seen it happen in my own life. And if they had continued, it would have brought more strife that was not necessary. So I hope this helps you, and let the Lord bring you peace and understanding in this, that you not self-isolate yourself, but that you would be bold and confident in who you are as a person in God and who He identifies you as, and as His son or daughter. God bless you. Bye for now.